What's going on, everybody? Yes, it is the lumberjack landlord. I did not die. I have not disappeared. The rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated, but I am here, the lumberjack landlord, with Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time. Mike, how is it going? We had a tough scheduling for like 3 weeks in a row. That whole damn real job for me.
Yeah, I was going to say I was on vacation for one of them, but then you know what? You have a job. So, you know, every day Saturday for me and not for you.
Every day is not Saturday. Most days, Mike, feel like a Monday. Got to be honest. Most days feel like a Monday.
Ouch. I'd much rather have it be a Saturday than a Monday.
We're going to have to do a segment on which day of the week do you want it to be? Yeah, we're going to have
absolutely.
Yeah, it's easy. But Mike, thanks so much for joining me today. You know, again, the big news today is the eviction moratorium. You know, them talking about this. Obviously, the CDC's gotten the hint from enough of these federal courts, with now 4 of them weighing in and saying, hey, that's completely wrong. You have no jurisdiction. You have no authority to do that. And so I think at this point, if they do it or extend it past when they said they wouldn't, I think at that point, obviously, it welcomes massive amounts of class action lawsuits, would be my guess. So now the president is trying to get this done a different way. So I tell you that the government tells us a month ago, hey guys, don't worry, eviction moratorium, we're going to extend it just this one last time. And now they believe that they can justify extending it. How does that make you feel?
Well, unfortunately, I've lived a long time and realized that a lot of the nonsense that comes out of DC is politics and talking points that they want to put out. But again, we live in an environment, you know, where checks and balances exist. So I am not particularly concerned about the sudden rush to extend it via Congress action. Congress doesn't typically move that quickly, even in an emergency. You know, so the fact that, you know, this came out yesterday afternoon and oh, by the way, today, the day we're recording this, is the last official day for Congress for 6 weeks because they go on summer recess, which I'm not sure why congressmen get a summer recess, but whatever. I mean, I thought that was like a kindergarten thing, but I guess you need a recess when you're in Congress, I guess. I'm not particularly concerned.
I think it's fitting that kindergartners and congressmen get a recess. Kind of makes sense, but go ahead.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I think it's political theater. I'm not particularly concerned about it, both because I've never seen something get done in a 24-hour period. Also because we still have filibuster in the Senate, which means you would need at least 10 Republicans to, you know, get past that. So it's going to expire tomorrow. But as we've talked about, you really don't want the federal government in states' business. That was one of the things that was, you know, very important when we were founded in 1776, was the separation between federal and state. So as I've told many people, you don't really worry about the CDC that's going to go away. And I think it goes away tomorrow, but you got to worry about the states. The states could get something done quickly, right? At the state level, right? That's where you got to watch. So the state of California, we're already out till September. So CDC going away, doesn't matter. I just did some research, New Jersey till January 1st. Whew.
Yes.
Right. So, not particularly concerned about the federal government, but you know, one thing I do want to say is the Supreme Court came out, I think it was in late June, and basically said, Neener, you can't do this, but we'll give you 30 days to get the money out.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Democrats, again, that's just the party in power right now, assumed that the president was going to say, no, I'm going to challenge you and we're going to extend this further. He's not, which is just crazy, because the Supreme Court basically came out and said, you got a month and we're not going to change this because it's against the US Constitution. If it was so important and you wanted to, you know, take care of all these people, you should have been working on it since 4th of July, not the last day of the congressional year. It's all political theater. Their heart's not in it. You know, if it was, they would have been doing this for 4 weeks, not in 4 hours.
Well, and I think the only reason that the Supreme Court weighed in on this and said, you know what, fine, whatever, was because they were basically saying another 30 days, fine, get your house in order in the next 30 days, but recognize that we're not going to rule in your favor to extend this thing again.
Oh, that's clearly what happened. Yeah.
You know, clearly. I mean, that's what Kavanaugh's weigh-in was. I mean, the concern that I have is, so I agree with you. Largely, I agree that this one passes. I just hope that they're as organized getting this done again as they were in getting me payments that were owed through the $50 billion that was awarded through rents. Because I don't know about you, but every single example that I had, it took them more than 90 days, even when we filed on the very first day that it was available.
Yeah.
It took them over 90 days to get that. So it's just showing that the federal government is exactly who we know they are to be, which is completely ineffectual, completely ineffective, and
Yeah.
largely can't get the job done that needs to be done, even in the case of an emergency.
Yeah.
It's around money.
There's a lot of landlords being made whole, although it's taking longer, but those aren't the ones I'm worried about, right? I know from personal experience in my portfolio, but a lot of people around me, they have tenants that have clearly been playing the game, and now are down $10, $15, $20,000, haven't paid rent in a year.
Yeah.
And they have said, and I quote, as soon as the eviction thing is over and you file, I'll just ghost you. So we're not going to see that money back, right? That there are mom and pop landlords that will be in financial ruin.
Yes.
Because of, something was unconstitutional. And as much as people want to poke at landlords, tenants, there are rotten tenants, and there have been tenants that have been taking advantage of this. And, people are always saying through no fault of their own, for tenants. Well, there have been landlords that are destroyed now because of tenants through no fault of their own replaying the game. And it's just sad. And ultimately what comes out of this, folks, is you're going to have less affordable housing.
That's right.
The government came in and messed with an efficient market. And when you do that, there are consequences. And what's going to happen is just like what happens when you do rent control. A few people will benefit, but the masses will suffer. And right now we are going to see 10, 15, 20% less affordable housing in the next 4 to 6 months. And you have no one to blame except the federal government.
I would be willing to go out on a limb and say, I think you're going to see more small multifamily, 2 to 4, 2 to 6 units. I think you're going to see more hit the market because of this than you will because of the foreclosures.
Probably 5 to 10x. And
yeah,
it's not only 2 through 4s. I think you're going to see a ton of single family homes, right? What is the hottest asset today? Single family homes. Sure. So you're a landlord, you've been suffering through this, maybe you own it free and clear, maybe you have mortgage, doesn't matter. But now you get this nasty tenant out. They get out, you're down 20 grand, 10 grand, whatever. You have a choice. First, you can sell it as is, which no real business person would. You're going to spend the 4, the 8 to 12 to fix it up. Now you're looking at a brand new property. You're going, do I really want to put another tenant in here? Or should I list it and cash out?
Yep.
Now, a lot of people are going to rent it because rents have gone through the roof, and they'll just, write this 20 grand off as cost of doing business. But I got to tell you, you're 62 years old. You've been doing this 30 years. Yes. You're done. You're like, yep, I'm out. And oh, by the way, you're going to raise my taxes next year. Screw it. I'm done.
Yep.
So we're going to see, I'm 20% less affordable housing. That's it. Houses 2s through 4s, because mom and pops are like, got me once, you're not going to get me again. And that's tenants. I feel bad for tenants because rents are going to go up. Quality is going to go down. Supply is going to go down. I mean, there's going to be so much. I mean, I hear about it all the time, right? I get emails almost daily now saying, do you have a unit? Do you have a unit? Do you have a unit? We'll take anything.
Anything, Mike. Anything.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. It's the government did this. It did, right? It's unfortunately a outcome of, a tough environment we've been in. But now the price is going to be paid, and tenants are going to pay a dear price, I think.
So what happens when a big entity starts picking winners and losers, is that, it forces the hand of, because we're still a market economy.
Yeah.
And so it still is going to force the hand. And, again, what does that mean? That means that people are taking additional risk. People that had bad experiences before with, the eviction moratorium, and that they didn't have tenants. Like you said, now they're going to be having to fix those things up and get them ready and get it on the market and get it sold. I had an off-market deal that I thought for sure that was going to be a sub 2 deal. thought for sure it was going to be. And they said, no, no way. And I said, really? How come? They said, we don't want the risk.
Yeah.
They said, we trust you. We trust that you can pay, but we don't know
Yeah.
that you can pay if all of your tenants stop, if all of our tenants stop paying. And I just
Yeah.
asked them, I said, does that mean you did a bad job putting tenants in here? Just
Yeah.
a joke, of course. But yeah, they said, nope, we want to be done. We want out. We will take our money. We will pay our 20% taxes and
done.
we're good. Yep. We're ready to get out of the race.
And I'm telling you, that is mom and pop landlords. I'm watching my market, dude. This next 4 or 5 months, I'm going to pick up some deals.
Like 43 years, these people own this place.
Oh, and they're like, see, that's the person I'm going. They're like, I mean, even if you bought it when you're 30, that means you're 73 years old.
That's exactly right. They just hit their 70s.
So they're like, I mean, at this point, you're staring at the last quarter of your life. You're like,
that's right.
I'm about de-stressing my life. I don't blame them.
Yep.
Punch.
Yeah. What I prefer to call the bullshit to money ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to be dealing with eviction attorneys and all that stuff. And the fact that, even though they've got it basically paid off, their taxes are still running them $1,200 a month for the property plus maintenance. So it's, $1,600 a month. And they're like, if all the, we had a number of people that just stopped paying, and then they were like, and then each time, what do you get? A judgment against somebody and they have to pay your attorney fee that they never pay. So it's just one of those crazy things. So Mike, we're getting ready for that second segment, which is kind of renter red flags. It's going to segue nicely into that renter red flag. So before we jump into that second segment, Mike, tell us all how everyone can find you, because there is just 5 fire videos a day coming from you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Go to your Google search bar and put in One Rental at a Time. You should find YouTube, Instagram, books, all kinds of good stuff. And of course, the great How to Get Started One Rental at a Time course, which you have created, the house hacking, the hackologist segment. So I appreciate that.
Oh, no, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And so Mike, even to that end, I would say that people should probably buy your course now, because they're probably going to have a lockdown where they'll have a whole lot of free time on their hands this winter.
Well, that and the fact that the next 6 months is going to be a slowdown and more deals coming. It's the right time to do your homework, for sure.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's too bad that they didn't do it 6 months ago, because then they would see how unbelievable a deal it was going to be. But now, even if you just know your market, it's going to be extremely impressive to be able to understand that market, know what's going to happen in comparison to the last 6 months or even last year. Holy cow. It's going to be a different world. And so knowing that as a skill, knowing how to do that is going to be really worth its weight in gold. So
there you go.
Mike, thanks so much for the time. As always, guys, we spent a ton of time creating this unbelievably awesome content for you. Click subscribe. Make sure to join us over here at Lumberjack Landlord or lumberjacklandlord.com, and we'll make sure to continue to deliver you the heat. Thanks again, Mike. We'll get ready for segment number 2.
You got it.